Jorge Carrera Andrade was an Ecuadorian poet, historian, author, and diplomat during the 20th century. He was born in Quito, Ecuador in 1902. He died in 1978. During his life and after his death he has been recognized with Jorge Luis Borges, Pablo Neruda, Octavio Paz and Cesar Vallejo as one of the most important Latin American poets of the 20th century. Writing and diplomatic career. From 1928 to 33, Carrera first experienced traveling in Europe. He served as Ecuadorian consul in Peru, France, Japan and the United States. Later he became ambassador to Venezuela, the United Kingdom, Nicaragua, France, Belgium and the Netherlands. He also served as Secretary of State of Ecuador. While living in the United States, Carrera developed many literary relationships with American writers, in particular Moon Ali, whose critically acclaimed translation of his poetry, Secret Country, was published in 1946. His work was praised and championed by John Malcolm Brennan, H.R. Hayes, Archibald MacLeish, Carl Sandburg, William J. Smith and William Carlos Williams. Carrera Andrade's poetic work developed for half a century in a number of volumes published worldwide. In 1972 Obra Poetica Completa, which gathers the totality of his lyric work, appeared in Quito. Most of his poetry has been translated into French, English, Italian and German. He also published books of essays, history and an autobiography, El Volcan y el Colibri. After Carrera's diplomatic career ended in 1969, he was appointed Distinguished Visiting Professor at sunny Stony Brook, Long Island, where he lectured for 2 academic years. He spent his last years in his native city of Quito as director of the National Library of Ecuador. During his life and after his death he has been recognized with Jorge Luis Borges, Pablo Neruda, Octavio Paz and Cesar Vallejo as one of the most important Latin American poets of the 20th century. A celebrated poet, in 2002 the Republic of Ecuador celebrated the century of his birth. In the same year a group of Ecuadorian intellectuals gathered in Cuenca, Ecuador, to examine the life and work of Carrera Andrade. Bibliography. Prose in English. Carrera Andrade, George, The New American and His Point of View Toward Poetry, Tr. H.R. Hayes, Poetry, LXII, 1943, p. 88-105. H.R. Hayes, Jorge Carrera Andrade, Magician of Metaphors, Books of Broad, 17, No. 2, 1943, p. 101-105. Books in English. Micrograms, Tr. Alejandro da Costa and Joshua Beckman, Seattle, Wave Books, 2011. Microgrammars, Tr. Stephen Ford Brown and J. Enrique Ojeda, Quito, Orogenia Corporation Cultural, 2007. Century of the Death of the Rose. The Selected Poems of Jorge Carrera Andrade, 1926–1976, Tr. Stephen Ford Brown, Louisville and Montgomery, New South Books, 2002. Reflections on Latin American Literature, Tr. Don and Gabriela C. Bliss, Albany, Sunny Press, 1973. The Selected Poems of Jorge Carrera Andrade, Tr. H.R. Hayes, Albany, Sunny Press, 1972. Secret Country, Tr. Moon Ali, New York, Macmillan, 1946. To the Oakland Bridge, Tr. Eleanor Turnbull, Palo Alto, Stanford University Press, 1941. Books in Spanish. Autobiography, The Volcano and the Hummingbird, Puebla, Mexico. Editorial, Jose M. Cajica Jr., S.A., 1970. Essays, Interpretations of Hispano-America, Quito, Casa de la Cultura Ecuatoriana, 1967. Latitudes, Quito, Talas Gráficas Nacionales, 1934. Buenos Aires, Editor, Paseo, 1940. History, The Kingdom of Quito, A Street of the Sun, Quito, Casa de la Cultura Ecuatoriana, 1963. Gallery of Mystics and Insurgents, Quito, Casa de la Ecuatoriana, 1959. Earth Always Green, Paris, Editions Internationales, 1955. Memoir Traveler Through Countries and Books, Quito, Casa de la Cultura Ecuatoriana, 1961. Poetry Poesia Ultima ed. With Introduction, J. Enrique Q. New York, Las Americas Publishing Co., 1968. Planetary Man, Quito, Editorial Elan, 1963. Family of Night, Paris, Libreria Española de Editions, 1953. Place of Origin, Caracas, Editions, Suma, 1944. Secret Country, Tokyo, Editions Iberoamerica, 1940. Anthology of Pierre Revedi, Tokyo, Editions Asia America, 1939. Biography for the Use of Birds, Paris, Cuadernos del Hombre Nuevo, 1937. French translation by Edmond van de Kamen, Brussels. Les Cahiers du Journal des Poètes, 1937. Time Manual, Madrid, Editions Literatura, Pen Collection, 1935, French translation by Adolphe de Fulguereau, Paris, Editions René de Bresse, 1936. Earth and Sea Bulletins, Barcelona, Editorial Cervantes, 1930. Indian Poems, Quito, Editorial Elan, 1928. Wreath of Silence, Quito, Casa de la Cultura Ecuatoriana, 1926.